If you're in your 20s, you have one massive advantage. You have time. And the crazy part is, most people just waste their time. We all have spent years scrolling on social media, especially if you're in your 20s right now. We all buy things that we can't afford. I've done this too. And we've all partied away. We've all went to those parties on the weekends. The parties that really mean nothing in our lives. We always wait for the perfect time to start. And I know I've done that too in the past. And then one day we all wake up and we're 30 and we wonder where the last decade went. Where did we go wrong? The truth is, your 20s can either set you up for an incredible life or they can break you down and they can make your 30s 10 times harder. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing the biggest lessons that I've learned and how I can help you guys get ahead. You know, if you're in your 20s, listen up, because I'm going to get into it. So, anyways, number one, we need to stop comparing ourselves to other people. Like, this is one thing I learned in high school. I was constantly comparing myself to others, and this is a massive trap that we can fall into. A lot of people do. Most people do. I once heard this quote. It was like, whenever you're in your 20s, or like teens to 20s, you're trying to impress people, whatever. And then 30s is you're trying to make up for the mistakes that you made in your 20s and you're still learning. And then whenever you're in your 40s, you learned that it really didn't matter. And then 50s and 60s and 70s, you find out that people never really cared to start. Everybody's just, all they do is they care about themselves, genuinely. So this is a huge trap that we can fall into. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing, it can be. However, if it motivates you to do other things that are great, that's a good thing. Like in high school, for me specifically, I cared about what people thought about me. You know, I started lifting weights, and I'm 24 right now. I started lifting weights whenever I was 16 because I thought, I was like, I wanted this image. I wanted people to care about me. And you know, that was a good motivation. It was. Anyways, stop comparing yourselves to everyone else. You open up Instagram, you know, somebody bought a new supercar, whatever it is. Somebody else is traveling in the world. Another person just got engaged. You know, another person is making 6 figures in their 20s. I saw this video of this kid making millions whenever he was 18, and you know, I don't want to say jealousy, but I just felt like I was behind. Meanwhile, we're all just sitting there thinking, like, what am I doing with my life? The thing is, if you're looking like Instagram, whatever, TikTok, whatever social media platform it is, you're comparing yourselves to people that are using highlight reels. That's their highlight reels. Like the traveling, like, oh, I wish I went to that place. You know, that's just that's a huge blip on the radar. What are they doing the rest of those days? They're probably just like us. What are you posting on Instagram? You're posting your highlight reels. Most people will post their wins. I'm not saying some people don't. I'm saying most people only post their wins. That chick, she posts that good picture she's on her 95th percentile. She looks great. She's at the gym, whatever. That dude, he's at the gym. That one guy just bought his car. Meanwhile, they don't post the debt that they're in. They don't post their anxieties. They don't post their failures. Like I just said, we are comparing everybody else's highlight reels to our whole entire life. We don't see the behind the scenes. We don't see the loneliness. You know, we don't see all this stuff. You know, Alex Hermosi, if you know who that is, definitely go watch some of his videos. He's a really big, rich entrepreneur right now. He talked about how whenever he was like 23 or something, he moved to California and started the gym. And he said that year of his life was the most lonely year of his life. And he took a screenshot of his bank account because he had like no money in his bank account. And, you know, we get caught up in looking at these people because he's a big rich entrepreneur right now. But nobody saw the first years of his life because he was struggling just like we all are. He was really struggling, and he didn't share that at the time. He shares that now, but you know, comparisons steal your focus. If you're constantly comparing your life to other people, you will lose. You know, I was talking to my girlfriend the other day, and she's like, "Oh, I see all these people having babies. I see all these people getting engaged, and I want that too." And I'm like, are you comparing yourselves to other people? Or are you jealous of what they have? Because you don't see the behind the scenes. You don't see the behind the scenes. You don't see their failures. You don't see that loneliness. You know, instead, we should be focused on building our own lives. This is one thing I've been doing lately. I've tried my best not to compare myself to other people. Tried my best. And I've tried to build my own life. Tried going to the gym every day in the morning. I've tried. But it's hard because we're watching everybody else's wins. The only person you should compare yourself to is the version of yourself from yesterday, or a year ago, or 5 years ago. Really. You know, right now I'm 24. I compare myself to others, and I'm like, man, I'm really behind. I feel like it. However, if I look at myself whenever I was 18, I'm like, I'm way ahead whenever I was 18. Shouldn't matter. You know, it shouldn't matter. Stop comparing yourselves to other people. Compare yourself to you. If you don't go to the gym, let's say you don't go to the gym your whole life, and you start going today, compare yourself from yesterday. You were lazy yesterday, but hey, today at least you got in the gym. Okay, number 2. We all have to, moving on from comparisons, we all have to learn skills that actually make us money. One of the biggest mistakes that we can make whenever we're like 18 to, 20, 18 into our 20s, is we look at skills that don't actually make us money. You know, whenever we are kids, essentially, our parents tell us, go to college, do this, get a degree. But whenever I was 18, I was told the same thing, and I went to college, but I learned that degree didn't actually make me money. You know, it was kinesiology, and it can make you money, but that's if you're an exception. Most people that get that degree are making minimum wage. And so a lot of these kids that go to college, they get like a communications degree. Like, some people make money from that, but most people don't. Unfortunately, most people don't. I mean, if you get your master's in it, you learned a language, 2 other languages, you can make money. But for most of us, those degrees don't make us money. You know, schools teach us how to pass tests. Schools don't really prepare us for the real world. They don't teach us how to actually make money. The real world pays you for solving problems. If you can solve an expensive problem, people will pay you well. Some examples, like video editing, for example. You can make a lot of money from video editing. Programming, coding, you can make a lot of money from programming and coding. Sales, obviously. That's sales. If you know how to do sales and you know how to market, this stuff will make you money. Copywriting. I didn't know what copywriting was until I was in my 20s. After school, I had to figure copywriting out all by myself. Guess what? Because no school taught me what copywriting was. No school taught me genuinely how to save money, how to make money with these online skills. Nobody taught me. I had to teach myself. No high school, no middle school, no college taught me how to do this. You know, graphic design. This is another great way to make money. AI automation. Obviously, Schools aren't going to teach you that because schools are outdated. Running ads, things like these, I had to teach myself these things. The internet has made learning almost free, guys. YouTube, books, online courses, free tutorials. Honestly, there's not really any excuses anymore to make money. There's no excuses. I think people like to blame the system, and they say, oh, well, school didn't teach me how to make money. You know, the only person to blame is yourself, because, you know, our parents are telling us to go to college. But one of my biggest mistakes, I think, was to go to college right out of high school. I was 18. My parents told me to go. I should have taken a gap year, you know. I should have learned these online skills, but I didn't. I wasted my time on college, and honestly, college taught me nothing. College taught me nothing. I'm $20,000 in the hole. College taught me nothing. If you spend just 1 hour a day learning these skills, bro, in 1 year, you will know more than most people in that skill. Obviously, there will be people that are a lot better, but I'm just saying you need to spend at least 1 hour a day. Video editing, coding, you know, these things, copywriting, these things, guys. So, number 3, your phone is either your greatest tool or your biggest distraction. So if we think about this, if you spend 6 hours a day on your phone, let's say, that's over 2,000 hours every year. That's insane. That's enough time. That's enough time to learn a new language. That's enough time to start a business, read dozens of books, learn video editing. You could build a YouTube channel. Instead, most people spend these hours just watching strangers argue online or doom scrolling. You know, social media isn't evil, but it's unlimited entertainment, and that's dangerous. So ask yourself every day, is my phone making me money, or is it costing me my future? Genuinely ask yourself this. I know so many people that just doom scroll. And you know, I'm in a group chat with some friends, and one of the ongoing jokes is, oh, I'm going to take a break from doom scrolling. These guys are in their 20s. I'm going to take a break from doom scrolling. I need to do something else. Bro, don't doom scroll. Rather than doom scroll for an hour, build your future. Build a skill you can use. I don't know. It's difficult. I know it's difficult, but you have to just do it, guys. Number 4, this leads into number 4. You got to start before you feel ready. Everybody wants to be confident in what they do. Everybody. But nobody wants to earn it. You know, people think, I'll start my business tomorrow, I'm confident. I'll go to the gym once I'm motivated. I'll make YouTube videos once I get better. But honestly, that's backwards, you know. Confidence comes from doing, not thinking. Every successful person started as a beginner. Everybody. Every expert once had no idea what they were doing. The people who succeeded aren't really fearless, but they just started anyways. You know, it's difficult because you have to start before you feel ready. Nobody's going to feel ready going to the gym. Nobody's going to feel ready going to that martial arts class. First time I went to a martial arts class, my judo class. First time I got choked out. You know, it was super uncomfortable. I got thrown down to the ground. Super uncomfortable. I was terrible at it. I wasn't ready for it. But guess what? Doing the thing made me ready for it. The first step is always the most uncomfortable. You have to take that step anyways, guys. That business, you're not going to make money the first day. You're not even going to make money the second day. You're not going to make money within a first year, most likely. But you have to do it anyways. You have to just start. Because now that I look back on my life, I'm glad I started these things. Whenever I was like 21, I started my first business, didn't make any money from it. I have stories about that, by the way, on my other YouTube channels. Didn't make any, or on my other YouTube videos. Didn't make any money from it whatsoever. You know, I failed, but it taught me. It taught me, for one, how to start, And it taught me that, I will probably fail. You just have to keep going, even if you do. This goes into, this is kind of comparison one. Number 5. We have to stop trying to impress people. This one keeps people broken because they're constantly buying like new clothes, new shoes, new phones, and cars that they can't even afford, all to impress people that don't really care. Who honestly cares? Maybe whenever they scroll on that Instagram reel and they see your new car, they care for a little bit, but they're not really thinking about you. Nobody cares about you. No one cares about you as much as they need to care. Honestly, most rich people don't become rich because they're pretending to be rich. They become rich by investing, saving, building businesses, buying assets. The goal isn't to look successful, although for some people it might be. The goal is to become successful. And there's a huge difference. There's a huge difference. I started this not because I wanted to look successful, but because I wanted to be successful. Huge, huge difference. Because once you start making money, once you become successful and you look successful, you'll become complacent and you'll stop. However, if the goal is to be successful and you drive yourself every day, you will want to keep going even though you've reached a point in which you look successful. There's a huge difference, guys. Number 6, your friends matter more than you think. There's an old saying, you become the people you spend the most time with. Think about your friend group. Do they motivate you? Or do they make fun of you? Do they make fun of the people who try to improve themselves? Do they talk about your goals? Or do they talk about their goals? Or do they just gossip? Do they encourage discipline? Or do they encourage bad habits? You don't have to cut these people off, but I understand this. I have groups of friends. I have a lot of groups of friends. One is on PlayStation. All they do is game. They talk about nothing but gaming, games, buying things. They don't have any ambition. Another group of friends, all they do is drink. All they do is try to impress people. All they do is doom scroll. Make jokes, but they never talk about being successful. Your environment shapes your future, and you have to choose wisely. Whenever I'm with these people, like let's say people that don't have any ambition in their life, I find myself weirdly being dragged down. I'll start making excuses. For example, let's say I'll be with a group of friends and they start drinking. I don't drink much. However, I'll probably make the excuse, oh, well, everybody else is drinking. I'll do it too because it's fine. Everybody else is doing it. Or they're taking a lazy day. Oh, well, everybody else is doing it. I can take a lazy day. However, you have to think there's multiple people that aren't doing that. There's thousands of people that are successful. So stop comparing yourself to your little group, your little world, because there's other worlds outside your little world right here. You can still hang out with those friends, but you have to really think. You have to think about it, guys. You have to analyze your environment. Is your environment making you worse? If it is, change your environment. Change your friends. Don't hang out with them as much. Do your work. Start your business. Find other friends. Chris Williamson, he's a podcaster. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him. The Lonely Chapter. He talks about the Lonely Chapter. There will be a chapter in your life that is lonely because for right now, your friends that are with you right now aren't good enough for you. They'll say, oh, going to the gym, not partying. Oh, working on your business instead of drinking alcohol. They'll make fun of you a little bit. Poke fun at you a little bit. But you're not successful enough to be with that next group of people that have gotten there. So there will be a lonely chapter in your life. But you just have to embrace it. You have to embrace it, guys. You have to. Number 7, You have to take care of your health now. Whenever you're young, you feel invincible. You can stay up until 3 a.m. I know whenever I was a teenager, I could do this. I would eat fast food every day, you know, not whenever I was a kid, but more like 17, 18. And exercise, I started lifting whenever I was 16. I didn't really start getting into it until I was 17. However, I wouldn't exercise before this point. I got fat, and you know, I would survive. I would think I was invincible. But if you don't start those things right now, it will eventually catch up to you. You don't have to become a bodybuilder. You just have to do the basics, and those basics will build. It's literally a fundamental for your life. Sleep enough, walk every day, lift weights a few times a week, drink water, eat real food most of the time. Your body's the vehicle you'll use for the rest of your life, so you have to take care of it. And if you don't have that body, if you get in the habit of eating fast food, not going to the gym, whenever you're in your 30s, you'll feel it. In your 40s, you'll feel it so much more. 50s, 60s, 70s, you will feel your bones, your joints, your muscles, they will ache every day. And you'll think, what did I do with my life? Number 8. Now, this one's kind of contradictory, but I've had other videos about this. Read more books. Not only books, but just read more in general. Online things. It doesn't have to be books. Ebooks. Even consuming podcasts. You know, intake more information. It's something that kind of blew my mind. But for around like $20, you can buy a book. And it contains somebody else's entire life work for years, sometimes decades, of experiences, and it's packed into like a few hundred pages or packed into a 2-hour podcast. That's like one of the best deals on earth, honestly. If you don't have the money to spend, listen to podcasts, guys. You can take so much information out of these things, and most people never take advantage of these things. They're gaming, they're doom scrolling. You know, you don't have to read 100 books a year, but if you read one once a month, twice a month, if you read one every 3 months, it will completely change how you think over time, legitimately. Number 9, learn about money. You know, schools teach you algebra. Doesn't teach you how to budget. Doesn't teach you how to invest. Schools don't teach you taxes. They don't teach you credit. They don't teach you retirement, although they might a little bit. Money touches almost every part of your life. Almost every part. Yet most people never study it. Unless you're like a finance major or whatever. You gotta learn the basics, guys. You have to learn how investing works. You have to learn how compound interest works. You have to learn how debt works, how to save, how to budget. And the earlier you understand money, the easier life will become, genuinely. Because what's the biggest factor in your life right now? You're probably, if you're in your 20s, you're probably barely scraping by on rent. You know, you're tired all the time from working. You know, what if before you bought that apartment or buy those things, like one of my friends bought a canoe, a new car. You know, they don't understand how money works. They just buy the things because that's like the American dream, right? Money is literally everything in your life. If you're a rich person, you can do anything you want. Literally anything you want. But most of the time, those people are disciplined. The people with the least amount of discipline are the people that are the poorest. This kind of goes into number 10. You have to build something. You know, this might be the most important point, and I think it is. Other than working out. I think working out might be a little bit more important. Probably the same tier. This might be the most important thing, but we'll see. Don't just consume. You have to create. You have to start a YouTube channel. You have to build that website. You have to write things online. Create apps. You have to start selling something. Start freelancing. Build a business. Even if it fails, just like I did. And you'll learn more than somebody that only watches videos about success or somebody that reads books. If you actually fail at a business, you'll learn so much. So much more than a college course can teach you. Action teaches lessons. Action teaches lessons, guys. College will teach you, sure, but arguably experience will teach you so much more. And thinking never will. Number 11, same concept, except that you will fail, because nobody likes failing, but everybody wants to succeed. Everybody does. But everyday businesses fail. Videos flop. Like, for example, one of my channels, for some reason, I got 20,000 views on one of my videos, and the rest of the videos, I've posted so many videos after that, like 10, 20 views on my shorts. I'm like, what am I doing? You know, videos will flop. If you start a YouTube channel, videos will flop. Anyways, interviews will go badly. I've had bad interviews. I haven't gotten jobs before. People will reject you. People will. Whether it's that chick on the street or the job interview, people will reject you. And that's normal. Everybody's been rejected. Everybody's failed at some point. But failure isn't the opposite of success. Failure is a part of success. All the famous entrepreneurs you see right now have probably failed at a company, 2 companies, 3 companies, unless they started a business whenever they were 17, like Mark Zuckerberg. And but he's probably failed at some point, right? Every mistake teaches you something, unless you quit, because quitting is the biggest failure. Quitting is the biggest failure. You have to play the long game, guys. This is number 12. You have to play the long game. Everybody wants success overnight, but very few people are willing to work for years without immediate results. If you think about it, if you improve just 1% every single day, where would you be in 5 years from now? Most people quit after a month, even sooner. Most people quit before they even start that idea. Oh, I want to start that YouTube channel. I don't know how to edit. I'm not going to start it. They don't. Most people quit before they even start. But if you get to that starting phase, a lot of people will quit after a month. The people who stay consistent, they win. Not because they're smarter, not because they're luckier, it's just because they didn't stop. If you forget everything else I said today, remember this. If you're in your 20s, you have to invest, guys. You have to invest in skills. Whatever it is, working out, you have to invest. Your 20s are an investment. Every habit you build, every skill you learn, every dollar you save, every risk you take has a chance to completely change the next 40 years of your life. Don't waste this decade trying to impress strangers. Don't waste it trying to motivate people. Don't waste it hoping like life will magically get better, because it won't. You have to take action, like today, even if it's small, because one day you'll either be looking back and thankful that you started, or one day you'll look back and wish that you had started. The choice is yours. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. I make videos about self-improvement, money, and becoming a better version of yourself. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.